If you've never heard about Terraria, you might be living under a rock. Or not, since the majority of the time in Terraria you'll be digging and fighting underground, or in dungeons. Starting off with the basics until you can dive even deeper with better gear. But what if I told you that something as simple as breaking a few blocks, making some new armor, fighting the big bad evil guy has a huge life lesson hidden within. That lesson is so important because it touches on just about every part of your life. The lesson to dig out of Terraria is finding out what it takes to go from zero to hero with a new skill set. And if you want to achieve some great things in life, you're going to have to learn this lesson one way or the other. Every time you start to learn a new skill, you'll always start from square one. You've probably heard it before, the first step to being good at something is sucking at it. And that rings true in Terraria for sure. When you start off with the lowest level equipment, barely able to handle the weakest monster. And to top it off, you have to build your base from scratch, nothing's there. A real life example would be like when you're starting a YouTube channel, you start your channel with nothing. You gotta make the name, and that's about it. You gotta fill it up, you gotta change the settings, you gotta add videos, create your formats, create the system you wanna use, you gotta build it all the way up. But if you never get started, you'll never start to learn. It'll be like trying to beat Terraria with nothing, or not even turning on the game. So then what does it take really to get started? In Terraria you start by digging down, cutting up some trees, putting in some of the work, and it's going to take a while before you start seeing some meaningful progress. You might dig for a while and only find more dirt, but if you stick to it and you stick with it, you'll eventually find some ore, some metals, something to kind of get you started. If you ever get a new job or started a new project, then you probably have that same feeling before. You work and you work, but there's just kind of like just a little bit to show, nothing much. When you stay consistent with it, you begin to find those little breakthroughs, just like you're finding those little pockets of metal that you need, or breaking open a few pots and open up some treasure chests. And of course, you'll always find that perfect ore cluster on the first try and defeat every boss without taking any damage. Except not. In fact, you're gonna have to try, fail, and adjust quite often. You'll perish to accidents, monsters, all sorts of things. But learn from the mistakes and keep going on. That right there is one of the biggest life lessons you can get. You'll grow the quickest from pushing your limits and making some mistakes. And that's okay. In fact, necessary. So you've made some good progress, ready to take on bigger challenges. Well, you're probably going to want some help from your friendly neighborhood NPCs who sell the gear and the equipment that you might need. Sometimes they would have helpful information, like when you talk to the guide. Having a strong community or a crew of friends can make a world of difference in how you grow your skills in real life as well. They can help you out with advice, new ideas, or even resources that they might already have that can help you on your journey. See, because in life, the top 5 people you associate with, the people that you spend the most time with, you're going to be the most like them. So if you're learning something new, make sure you find some good friends that are already really good at that. Or maybe even on the same journey. And speaking of friends, who can forget your number one friend in all of Terraria? The guide. A handy little guy who helps you understand the game more and more and guide you through progression events, the things they have to do. He'll say little tiny tips here and there that are actually kind of like either little lore drops or pieces of information that you need to keep going. In fact, he's so important that you can't even fight the wall of flesh without him. Or his voodoo doll. You know, you get to pick which one you want to toss in the lava. So the question is, who's your guide in real life? You know, having someone who's already mastered that skill that you're looking to grow can make a huge difference when you can pick their brain. It could take something that might take you 5 years and cut it down to 1 year, or even less, depending on what it is and who that mentor or coach is in your life. Even me, for example, I got a coach help me make this channel. Huge shout out to him. And one more thing to remember, in this world of Terraria, it's drip or drown. Your survival or progression depend on the gear that you have on you. You have to invest the time and the money to crafting or finding new gear to match the build you're trying to make. Upgrading your pickaxe is a must as well. You can't even progress if you can't mine the top tier metals. It'd be like if you tried to learn something new but you never bothered to read an instruction manual, a book, watch a YouTube video on it, or even get the tools that you need to do it. Let's say if it's like a crafting or an arts and craft thing. You have to put your time and your money where your most important investment is. That's yourself. Boom! You've been grinding and gearing up so that you can stop getting destroyed by easy enemies. Now you're taking on some bigger baddies. Working up from slimes to the early bosses and eventually the wall of flesh. Oddly enough, when you think about it, a big part of this game is destroying your ops. In fact, that's the main goal. Almost like the obstacle is the way type mentality. Crazy how much that mirrors real life, where developing skills will always come with some form of resistance, whether it be competition, maybe even your family or friends thinking that you're crazy for trying something new. But maybe, thinking about it this way, what if the struggle is the point? That through struggling you develop yourself, your character, your skills, even more than just practicing or if you just read it in a book. But wait, there's more! There's always more because every level has a new devil, so to speak. And guess what? After you defeat the final boss, the Wall of Flesh, you find out it's not over. Hard mode has just begun. New bosses, new enemies, new biomes, and more. Now that you've made it to the next level, you need to start getting to the next level of gear and items. Basically, what got you here won't get you there. It's like once you got monetized on YouTube, that's just the start, really. And what you did to get to that level won't help you make it to the next level. Once again, you're back on the journey to improving and refining your skills till the next level. Now you might be saying, that's great and all, but what if I want to do something different? Good news, everybody. You repeat the same process, but it's just a little bit easier. Let's say you spent the whole game playing a melee build and you get all the best gear. Well, you don't have to start all the way over from scratch. You've already unlocked hard mode and you already have access to all the different materials that you need. Also, you can start farming the bosses that you want to way easier because you have the experience of already beating them, and maybe you've built like a little arena for them. That and also having the top tier melee gear helps you farm stuff even better. Swapping to a new build will still take time, but it won't be as bad. Much like if you started your first YouTube channel and decide to make a new channel, maybe for a new format, or your first channel was just kind of like your test run. But you still have to put in the work to improve the new format, but at least you've already mastered the basics, so it goes way quicker. It's not easy learning how to do something for the first time, but I know you can do it. So once you're crushing it with a new skill and you're wanting to grow habits around it, maybe this video right here can help you. Let me know in the comments your favorite boss fight and what skills it took for you to beat them. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you the next time.